What's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link, and the Bungie 30th anniversary event has finally gone live. And of course, with it, we got the release of the Dares of Eternity, Xur's game show turned 6-man activity, the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, Moments of Triumph, and of course, a couple of exotic quests, including an exotic quest to reclaim the legendary D1 monster, Gjallarhorn, the exotic rocket launcher. And in this video, we're going to be showing you exactly how you can get your hands on that rocket launcher as well as the catalyst for it, which turns it and some of your rocket-toting allies into absolute DPS machines. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. This quest is going to start with you visiting Xur in Eternity. When you first start out in the 30th anniversary update, you're immediately going to be thrown into the Dares of Eternity 6-man activity. Once you complete it, you'll be taken to Xur's treasure hoard. And from there, you'll be able to pick up the exotic quest and outfly the wolves from Xur. It'll be on his second page. The first step is going to require that you head to the Cosmodrome and talk to Gjallarhorn, who will then task you with completing the new dungeon, Grasp of Avarice. Gather together a Guardian or two, launch the activity, and run it to completion. If you need a guide for how to complete this dungeon, we've got one up here on the channel. Once you've completed that, you'll need to return to the Cosmodrome to visit Gjallarhorn, where he will task you with gathering 7 Wolfpack rounds. These can be picked up by defeating powerful Fallen across the Cosmodrome. There's a myriad of ways you could do this. You could just go run public events, you could go and hit up lost sectors. And that's actually what I would recommend that you do. If you head to the Divide and go into the Exodus Garden 2A Lost Sector, there's plenty of higher level Fallen in there that you can take out. It's not a guaranteed drop, by the way, so you might have to run the Lost Sector 2 to 3 times, but it really shouldn't be much more than that. It only took me 2 to 3 runs to get all the Wolfpack heads that I needed. So get to running content, defeating those Fallen, and collect those 7 Wolfpack rounds. Once you do, return to Gjallarhorn once again. This time, he's going to send you on a short trip to the tower to speak with Banshee, who will then task you with returning to the Cosmodrome and completing that Exodus Garden 2A Lost Sector once again. So, load the Cosmodrome up, make your way to the Divide, and run that Lost Sector one final time. Upon its completion, you'll gather all the parts needed to craft a new Gjallarhorn. After this, you guessed it, head back to Gjallarhorn once again. Only this time, you'll notice his workbench has an icon over it. Head over there and craft your new Gjallarhorn. Once that's finished, show it off to Gjallarhorn and you will receive the fully completed, ready for action, exotic rocket launcher of old. Congratulations, Guardian, you have earned the Gjallarhorn. Gjallarhorn comes to D2 much in the same form that it was in D1, with 1 or 2 upgrades tied to it. It's still got its special ability, Wolfpack rounds, where rounds fired from this weapon will split into tracking cluster missiles upon detonation. But it's also got a new intrinsic perk in Pack Hunter, which increases handling and reload speed when you're standing near allies. Additionally, firing this weapon while the Pack Hunter perk is active will grant Wolfpack rounds to any of your nearby allies who are using non-exotic rocket launchers. It's actually a pretty powerful support perk and can work in tandem with some other really strong rockets like Ascendancy. But even outside of that support role, Gjallarhorn does pretty well in most bits of content. It even serves as a great ad clear weapon thanks to the mounting damage of the Wolfpack rounds that spawn after the initial detonation. So whether you're using it for mounting single target DPS, a way to buff some of your rocket-toting allies who might be using stuff like Argent Ordnance for those Godslayer warheads, or you're using it to clear ads, Gjallarhorn works as a top-tier option across the board. But that's not all we've got to cover here, because Gjallarhorn also got access to an exotic catalyst that is available right now by completing a special challenge inside of the Grasp of Avarice dungeon. This exotic catalyst will drop after you've opened up 3 hidden chests tied to very specific enemies throughout the dungeon. And so we're very quickly going to go over how exactly you can get it. Go ahead and load up the Grasp of Avarice and complete the initial section, making your way into the loot cave. Immediately after you've made your way into the mine shaft, you'll come across this room with this chasm. Across the way, you'll spot a very powerful Reaver Vandal, who upon being damaged sufficiently, will drop an engram. Picking that up will grant you the Burden by Riches debuff. You'll need this debuff to open up these 3 specific chests throughout the dungeon. Anyways, for this first section, the Reaver Vandal will spawn in the area you see right now. Once you've damaged him enough and picked up an engram, you can stop shooting him. You don't actually need to kill the unit. He's got a ton of health so that everybody in your fire team can actually pick up an engram. But anyways, once you've picked up that engram, make your way back across the chasm and jump where I'm showing you here. You'll find the first chest waiting. The second Reaver Vandal and special chest can be found in the area immediately after you have your Indiana Jones experience, with the large cylinder trap found immediately before fighting the first boss, the giant ogre. Once you've triggered that trap and made your way up these stairs, you should see the Reaver Vandal spawn and run into the room. Simply damage him enough to get the engram to drop and then make your way through the dungeon like you normally would, jumping up into the air shaft above you. Then follow the path that I'm taking here to take you to the room right before the first boss, but instead of jumping across the big chasm, turn right. And on the platform in front of this door, you'll find chest number 2. Go ahead and open it up and you'll be ready to move on to chest number 3. The final chest will be accessible after you've completed the Fallen Shield encounter, so you'll need to defeat the Ogre boss, finish the Sparrow Racing League for your life section, and then complete the Man Cannon encounter where you're firing the Servitor bombs to break down the shield. Once all of that is completed, head to this spot on the map. It'll be the area marked by the waterfall. Over here, another Reaver Vandal will have spawned. Now, before you go fighting him to drop your engrams, you're going to want to make sure that you've got a Scorch Cannon already readily available for you and that the lift that we'll be taking to get to the middle island is already set up. You're not going to have much time to get this done because, of course, the debuff you get when you pick up these engrams only lasts for about 20 or so seconds. But anyways, once you've found this Reaver Vandal, damage him enough to get that engram, grab the buff, make your way back down to the lift to launch you into the middle island. If you're running one of the game's many far-traveling supers, you can use that instead. Then follow the path that we're taking here, jump to the top of this building, and you will find the final chest waiting for you. Once you open it, you will be gifted the Gjallarhorn Exotic Catalyst, marking the end of your journey to reattain one of Destiny's most legendary, most powerful, and most venerated weapons. Congratulations, Guardian. You've got yourself something real special. The catalyst itself isn't going to ask you to do much. You just need to go and get kills with Gjallarhorn. I would actually recommend that you just run Dares of Eternity. You're likely going to be doing that to complete other quests like the quest for the Forerunner or other challenges and weekly bounties. And it's a great game mode that throws a lot of enemies at you. There's a huge enemy density within that game mode, and Gjallarhorn just tears everything up. By doing this, I was basically able to finish the Gjallarhorn Catalyst in about 3 to 4 runs of Dares of Eternity. So I definitely recommend it to anyone out there. As for the Catalyst effect, it increases magazine size, and final blows with Wolfpack rounds will spawn a faster, more powerful missile at the target's location. So essentially, you get a super missile at the target's location after your Wolfpack rounds already detonate. It's pretty darn good. But alright, Guardians, that's how you can get your hands on the Gjallarhorn Exotic Rocket Launcher. Hopefully this helped, and if it did, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. But I'm out for now. There's still so much to cover with the Bungie 30th anniversary. I'm having a lot of fun with the Forerunner Exotic Sidearm. It's a silly, silly weapon. But thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.